We are in a child welfare specialization, and we come from University of Pennsylvania. I am Michaela. I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and I just attended Monica's session, and it was like really great. I think I really enjoyed how we centered the young person, because a young person is still going to be a young person with everything that they go through. And I think a important takeaway for me when we think about strategies we can use for, students or adolescents that we work with, is like seeing them as a person. Don't put the problem. Don't attach the problem to the child. You know what I'm saying? That's not who they are. It's their experience, but that doesn't make them who they are, because they can always grow through those things and get through those barriers and kind of like accepting like what life has to come. So that was kind of like one of the biggest takeaways for me, just kind of like seeing them for who they are. Okay.
I can say mine. Hi, my name is Sabrina, and I'm from New Jersey. And I'm also one of their classmates. We go to the School of Social Policy and Practice at UPenn. I just attended Monica's session. I would say one of my favorite parts was her showing her vulnerability, sharing her story with us, and really just, letting us into her whole experience, her whole journey. That was really amazing. I would say that I love the visuals. I love the backpack, and her physically showing us some of the baggages, but then at the end replacing it with a book was really just great for my visual learning purposes, and then the sticky note activity as well. Cool.
All right, me next. Hi, Zoe. And what I really took away from Monica's talk, I once had a really great professor tell us, being in social work, it's about sometimes we plant seeds that we may never see grow. And I think Monica's story really exemplifies that and shows that just because of someone starts out doesn't mean that there isn't always this potential for growth. And it's kind of what motivates me in doing the work that I do, that even though I might not see that change now, that something in the work that I do may stick with that young person later on.
I like that. Hello, my name is Sydney. I go to UPenn. I just attended Monica's session, and I say that my biggest takeaway from her session is definitely just hearing her story and showing how every young person has has a story that's attached to their actions, and how seeing a child for who they are, a child, is really the most important part, because there are you can always chalk it up to be like, oh, that kid is a bad kid, they may not have any hope, but really understanding that there's a purpose behind every action, and you just have to be that adult that sees that kid within them and wants to bring out, the best in them, and not really faulting them for what they're doing, but really supporting them for where they can go, even if they don't see that themselves. So, yeah.
I'm trying not to drop it.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Catherine, also go to UPenn, and I think bouncing off of what Michaela said, always inspired by her, is not just seeing the kid as a person, but seeing them as a person, as part of a system and part of a family. And I think especially when we talk about child welfare and we only focus on the child, and we want the child to be a separate entity from the family, and we know that's not how life works. We know that's not what's good. And thinking about the podcast that we listened to for class, I forget the name of it. Sorry, I can't cite my work, is that if we had a child welfare system that was about family well-being and about really understanding not only the whole person, but their whole system and their whole being as a family member, as somebody who is attached to family, somebody who's attached to friends, somebody who's attached to community, and not shaming that, and instead encouraging parallel growth. I'm going to give this back.
Go, Monica.
Thanks for having us.